Purpose. No one can create your purpose for you. No one can tell you who to be. So in purpose, you have to create your own purpose. And in evolution, you have to evolve towards that purpose. It's easier to live when you have goals to meet. You understand? If you have goals to meet, then you don't feel so voided, and you understand why every day you're looking at this person in the mirror, because that is the cool part about the game. You get to be anybody you want to be.
Peace to the family. This is Brandon B. Dixon, and you're tuning into another episode of the Power of Ownership Podcast. I got my special guest, Chris Jones, CJ the Realtor, in the building. Tell them what's up here.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? CJ the Realtor here.
So we're going to go ahead and start the introductions, and we're going to get into this interview, man, real quick, and we're going to let y'all know how and what and the wheres and all that good stuff there. So, again, my name is Brandon B. Dixon. I'm a mortgage broker. I'm a published author and a serial entrepreneur. Go to my website, www.applywithb.com, if you want to get a mortgage today. Also, if you want to go ahead and get a copy of my book, it's available on Amazon. It's called Sales: The Nucleus of Any Profession. So go ahead and cop that. Also, if you want one of those fly condos in the Houston area, go to HoustonCondoSales.com. We got the best site for Houstonians, by Houstonians, condos, stuff like that. Chris, go ahead and introduce yourself, and let's go ahead and get started.
All right, CJ the Realtor, Real Estate Houston here in Houston, Texas. Looking to sell, buy, lease, invest, commercial, residential. I do it all. So hit me up, check me out on social media, all platforms, CJ Sales Texas, that's CJSELLSTX, or check out my website, greenwoodrealtytx.com.
All right, so a little bit different format. This is the new format of the Power of Ownership Podcast. This is the new improved version. So I'm going to be doing more of the interview instead of talking most of the time. So let's start it off like this. Tell them a little bit about yourself. How long you been in the business? What made you get in the business? And, what's your why in the business right now? So why did I get in the business? And then how long have I been in the business?
All right, it's about 20 questions, so I'm going to start. And it's crazy because this month actually marks 6 years for me.
Right, so
same time. So 6 years in. Before that, I was an engineer in oil and gas, and going offshore, like traveling the world doing it. Right. And great opportunities. Things changed back in 2016. Ended up switching to real estate full time after that. Got my electrical engineering degree from Tennessee State University, the real TSU. Shout out to everybody to the Tigers. So I got my degree there and bounced around in a couple of different industries and landed in real estate full time. And I've been doing it ever since. And comparing that to being in corporate, I always had a desire, and I felt my purpose was to help people.
Gotcha.
So that's how I ended up getting into it.
That's what made you I'm in electric engineering. I want to help people live with.
No. So I was already involved in real estate on the investing side.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, it just ties into what I was already doing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So on the investment side, what made you want to expand and then not stay in that sector? What made you want to go to the everything, first-time home buyers and everything like that?
Well, I bought my first house about 7 years ago, and I remember being a first-time home. Mm-hmm. So shout out to my mentor David Cole. He showed me the ropes, and he basically held my hand through the process.
Gotcha.
So I wanted to do the same thing for other people, that I don't want them feeling like, all right, this is one of the biggest investments people are gonna make.
Right.
So, going through that blind and not knowing what the steps in the process of what to expect and how much I need to pay and all that stuff, I wanted to make sure people, knew what to expect and have a great experience doing it.
Gotcha. Let me ask you this. All right, so since you've been in that almost 6 years, what are the things that you see change the most since you first started to where it is right now?
As far as the industry?
As far as the industry, real estate industry.
Man, for Houston, it's one of the hottest markets. You got so many people relocating to Texas from all parts of the world, actually.
Right.
So we got a huge oil and gas industry, medical, and we got several other industries where people come for too. But it's crazy to see the growth in Houston because you, at one point, certain parts look like the outskirts, like the country, and you could see developers going out there building new communities out there when there was just nothing out there at all. So just to see the growth in Houston, and it doesn't seem like it's stopping. I mean, it's slow with the industry, but it ain't stopping.
Let me ask you this. So the growth is just changed. Let me ask you this: as far as the customer base, how have they evolved since the pandemic? So have you seen like, all right, a change in like, all right, technique that you have to do as far as obtaining customers, or is everybody still the same as 17 and 16?
Nah, it's changed, and especially because the way the economy is right now with inflation and everything, you got more serious buyers looking right now.
Right.
Like, you know, before that, people, you know, felt like they had the luxury of time, and they know time is not on their side right now. So people are more serious about finding something and finding it quick before rates go up again.
Gotcha. All right, so tell us, you know, I don't want you to give all the keys to the castle, but what are you doing right now to generate business?
So you really got to structure it and be smart about it. Like I've tried, you know, the cold calling, door knocking, and just being able to maximize your time is more important now, in my opinion. So more intentional with, you know, contacts that I make and who I talk to. So you need to know who your real core advocates are in your sphere of influence. So finding those people to see, check them, and, you know, just building your network with quality people.
Gotcha. Let me ask you this. You know, most people don't get past that sphere of influence phase. How did you get past that? And then what accounts for your longevity? The way you're full time in this is 6 years. Most people don't pass that part time / all right, I got my cousin them, the house, and I got my sister them, and now I don't know how to prospect.
Yeah.
How did you get past that stage? Like
So
some of the pragmatic steps.
So with me, I'm not from here, so I didn't have that.
Right.
Like, I don't have my family. I'm from Alabama, so my family's still in Alabama, except for my sister. So I had to get out and get it, because even though
what does that mean? Like, you know what I'm saying?
All right.
Because you know, our audience is diverse.
Yeah.
So go out and get it. Like, what does that mean?
Man, just being active, going to different events,
Okay.
like networking events, and whatever you're interested in. Like,
Gotcha.
we done some car shows type of thing. Like,
So just go and strike up conversation.
yeah.
Gotcha.
And that's the thing about real estate. It's tens of thousands of agents in Houston.
Right.
So
Exactly.
what you gonna do to stand out? What you gonna do for people to like you?
Right.
Because 8 times out of 10, if not more, people know a realtor already.
Gotcha.
So what are you doing to make them go with you versus somebody else?
Gotcha. So you mainly took the social tip aspect. So people know you socially, and then from there they feel obligated to go ahead, and once they start looking at houses, to go ahead and give you a ring.
Yeah, that, and utilizing social media, because that's the best tool. You reach so many people, especially when I was talking about how Houston's like just such a big city and bringing in international people, like people from all over the world. They can see you from Instagram, LinkedIn, all these other sites.
Right.
So if you're not utilizing social media, you just you cutting yourself down by the leg.
Gotcha. Let me ask you this: what, as far as technology, what technology have you been using that's changed since you first got into business? What's some of the latest tech things that help you enhance your business lately?
I got a
Besides social media.
Yeah. No, I got a CRM connected to my website.
Okay.
So when people, you know, it's tracking like the people that are coming in, is
Well,
retargeting.
Well, tell them a little bit about, you know, SEO and all that stuff. Tell them about how people hear website, they just think website.
Yeah.
You gotta have a certain type of website.
Right.
And so break that down, because this is for, I want the audience to be realtors that's watching us that's trying to get techniques, or you know, even business owners that's trying to get techniques on how to build a business and prospect.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is consumers that's kind of interested in our expertise. Showing that we're the experts, so that's the audience.
Okay.
So a lot of realtors probably going to be looking at your eye. What advice would you give them as far as tech wise to use, and like what type of websites, what type of, you know, because people don't they don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's just like any other service where you're trying to attract clients, sex sales. So get you a nice, sexy looking website.
Right. What do you mean sex sales? It's like they might think
something eye catching.
Okay, I got you.
Something it ain't happening. Don't be on here taking your clothes off.
You ain't got an OnlyFans available on OnlyFans.
Showing off my hands.
Right. Yeah.
No, but make something. Get a website that's attractive as far as the imagery.
Right.
Maybe video, some music, something that's going to make it stand out.
Gotcha.
And you said SEO, if they don't know what that means, search engine optimization. So if somebody's Googling, all right, hottest areas in Houston or something, get those tags where it's associated with your website, so it pulls you up on that first page, because you up against like some of the big boys, like the Zillows, and you know what I mean?
40,000 realtors just in Houston.
Right.
You know what I mean? So let me ask you this. So what's the importance of, once you make the transition to full-time, because a lot of people don't make the transition to full-time, how many hours would you say that you put in per week strictly marketing, just marketing?
Man. So before,
as a pragmatic, so they can put that in their mind, how many just marketing?
Man, the majority of driving and getting new business is marketing.
Right.
So it's
right. So basically,
I'm trying to guess, because I work 6-7 days a week.
Right.
And marketing is every day.
Right. So basically, you would consider yourself, you would say you're a salesman / marketer.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right. So that's the job.
It goes hand in hand.
Right.
Yeah, you can't have one without the other.
Right. So again, we are sales and marketing. That's what we do. That's what that's. We can name all the stuff that you put behind your name and all these initials. Basically, it goes down to you're a salesperson and you market. That's it.
Yep. Shoot, even if you got a W-2 job working in a corporation, you're still a salesperson, because you got to sell yourself, you got to sell your ideas, your recommendations. So you're in sales regardless whether you like it or not.
Right. So a lot of people that have the stigma against salespeople, I get it. I had the same thing as well. But once you embrace it, you need to embrace it in order to get better and run to it instead of running from it. So you need to get tools like this in order to make yourself better and get better at this craft. Because this is a craft. Would you agree that once you learn how to market, you can pretty much do anything?
Oh yeah, that's across the board. Like, that doesn't matter what industry, what profession, marketing, you can do anything.
If you could market yourself and make yourself a realtor, you can market a business.
Right, exactly.
You can market anything.
Yep.
And from there, that's the key to the kingdom.
Basically, yep.
So all these people running from it. I'm a realtor. You get the broker and you get the name brand. That ain't gonna happen. You can't. You can't hide behind the name.
Unless you're doing that, you got a big marketing budget where you hiring somebody else to do it all. But you gotta have marketing.
You gotta have the marketing.
So if you're just selling with no marketing, you're gonna be.
So let's get into a couple of techniques. So we talked about on a broad scale the marketing. Let's get a little bit more granular before we get out of here. So let's talk about sales techniques. What's some of the things that you use to go from conversation to closing? How do you make them go from this chit chatting about it to actually the keys in your hand? What's some of the things that you use to get them down in that funnel?
Okay, well, even before that, let me start back when you was talking about people starting and trying to get into it and all that. Open houses.
Okay.
Like, that's a great way. If you are a new agent, doing open houses is a great way for you to start building up your pipeline.
Right, but that's a whole can of worms. This ain't open houses. What do you mean? Because a lot of them just hanging out there. They eat the chips and.
Right. So and there's a whole strategy with open houses. Right. Not just, hey, I got the open house sign in front of the house and hoping people come. You gotta actively market the open house too.
Right. So that's a whole other can of worms.
Right.
A lot of people just go to open house. They there and they just hoping and wishing.
Right.
Let me tell y'all one thing, and this is gonna be. We need to put this in bold. Hope is not a business plan. Hoping and wishing is not a business plan. There's no technique to that.
Nah.
When we talk about it, we give you tangible techniques on how to make this flesh.
Right.
That's what this is. So let me ask you all right, so go finish it. All right, so
So yeah,
before open houses, like
open houses, you get people coming in that may not be represented, so you get a chance to talk to them that might be buying. So from that standpoint,
you can't go and hang out at the bar or something like that.
Right.
Go to hang out at the open house.
So have small talk at the open house, find out what they're interested in, and then reach out to them after the fact to set up just even maybe like a coffee or lunch or Zoom, whatever, just to like repetition, so they keep seeing you here, you know what I mean, and start building a relationship. Because it takes about 12 touches to lock in the client. So it's not gonna happen just I seen you at the open house, let's go buy a house. They gotta feel comfortable.
Right, exactly. They gotta dig who you are, and like you. Let me put this, as well out there, especially if you're trying to jump in the game and you're a professional marketer. I want y'all to read this book, Never Eat Alone. And that goes from lunch or dinner. So go ahead and flash that book. I'll give y'all a free plug, because this is one of the books that I've read. So you're going to eat. You're going to eat every day, lunch and dinner. So why are you sitting there eating by yourself?
Right.
Why not get an extra $10 and put somebody in front of you? And that, don't forget, you got to be high touch and high tech.
Right.
So why not breaking bread and eating with somebody is primal. It's a bonding agent.
Right.
So when you eat with somebody, y'all kicking it and y'all laughing and stuff like that, y'all bonding.
Right.
And people buy from who they like, trust, and believe. So you can't be, hey, I seen you at New Year's Day parade, you was across the street and I waved at you, so go ahead and buy a house from me.
Right.
That ain't gonna work. So you gotta be high touch and high tech. So you gotta keep touching them. They gotta see your presence, but they gotta smell your cologne.
Right. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it just is what it is. So go ahead and finish with all right, so you said the open houses, you said, go ahead.
However you add people to your pipeline or meet new people, you gotta touch them.
Touch them.
Call, text, email, let's do coffee, let's grab lunch, something.
Let's say this, you said 12 touches. What would you say the average person takes before they actually will do business with you?
Like you said, at least 7.
At least 7 touches.
At least 7.
So y'all heard that out there. So they ain't, I winked at you, I waved at you, I poked you on Facebook, and then now buy a house.
I sent an email.
I sent you an email, you didn't respond.
You didn't email me back. I called you, you didn't return my call, so I text you. I get a message back from when you text me, sorry, I've been busy.
Right.
Because you better keep hitting people up until they say stop.
Right, exactly. So the email, they respond, this don't work.
Right.
That don't work.
That one
that
try.
Work. Yeah. A lot of people don't understand the consistency and the persistence that you need.
Right.
You got to be persistent in this game. And I have no qualms about somebody telling me to stop.
Right.
Because I like to eat.
Exactly.
So I'd rather you tell me stop or not eat.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep. Might check one time like you say stop. Like you sure?
It's either that or stall to death. In my mind. So it don't hurt my feelings when you tell me stop. That means I did my job.
You gotta have thick skin in this game, because there's gonna be people that tell you flat out no.
Right.
So if you can't handle rejection, then you gonna struggle.
So if you crawl up in the ball after somebody tell you no, you might want to get a W-2. You might want to get another job. You might want to do something else. You gotta have thick alligator skin, and you're gonna hear 100 no's before you hear that one yes.
Yep. And
people gonna tell you, F off, and keep rolling, and tell you, if that hurts your feelings, you don't need to be in sales. But the good thing about sales, and I want to ask you one more question about the granular part before we get out of here. The good thing about sales is that you don't need a degree.
No, right. No.
You don't need this Harvard education, and you can make Harvard type money if you're skilled. And this could be a trade that you could jump from industry to industry. Whatever you're doing, and as long as you have that technique, you will eat.
Yep.
So you might want to learn sales. A lot of people want to learn sales. Get the book on Amazon right now. Right. So
even if you're W2, if you planning on trying to get a promotion, trying to do some different things in the company, you got to sell it.
Right, because no matter what business you put in, you're going to have some sales.
Yep, because I worked in corporate.
Right.
I was an engineer, so
you got to have
I
sales.
know firsthand.
Right, so one more thing as far as technique and stuff like that, as far as, you know, what you're doing as far as selling. So the question I have is for, you know, this is we need the coin or something, you know what I'm saying? We have a challenge question. You know what I'm saying? I ask you, it depends on your answer, I'm going to challenge you on it.
All right.
So this is going to be the challenger question, you know what I mean? So let me ask you this. You got a client that, that will not commit to a particular property. You know, he's looking at the same property over and over and over, but never want to pull the trigger. What technique do you use to get him to pull that trigger?
So even before we go out and look, we're doing a consultation.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me what you want.
Right.
So we're going to have that on paper.
Right.
So when it's time to make a decision, we're going to compare apples to apples.
Okay.
So if this house meets things that you need from that list you gave me, then it's a no-brainer. If it's in your budget and everything, it makes sense.
So what you gonna tell him?
I'm gonna pull out the paper.
Right.
Look,
this is you, right?
This is what you told me. The house has everything you told me at the price you wanted. Let's sign the paperwork.
So that's how you. So usually that's how you nudge them.
Yeah,
sign the paperwork.
Like when they see what they like, oh yeah, you're right. I did say this. It makes sense. Let's do it.
Right. That's similar to what I would do. However, the only thing about paper, it kind of does scare them a little bit. You know what I'm saying? In a Ford, that's kind of what I would do as well. The only other thing I would have you do as well is use consensus. You know, so I would agree with what you're saying, because that's in the book. You know what I'm saying? People love to hear themselves talk, and then people hate to contradict themselves. So basically, if you're using their words, it's hard for them to go against each other.
Yep.
However, people still, one of the notch that you could do to fasten that down a little bit is people love to do what other people's doing. You know, and you got to make them seem odd. Like,
yeah, and also another thing, FOMO, fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out.
So it's like this house is available now. It's got everything you need, what you wanted at the price. You better, let's move forward now before it's gone.
Right. So you got to be. Don't forget that I would agree on this. So I'm not even gonna challenge you to I think you read my book. Right?
I actually did though.
All right, so I would agree on this. Don't forget, as a salesman, as a realtor, as a real estate agent, whatever terminology you want to use, you wear the white coat. You're the doctor.
Yep.
They came to you because they need something. You prescribing them what they need.
Yep.
So don't be afraid to be the authority.
Yeah.
And this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
you hired me to do this.
We problem solvers.
Don't be afraid to. And the people that fail, the people that don't have that confidence anymore. Excuse me, pardon me. You think that you might want this one? You're not gonna never get the sale.
Right. Yep.
You can't be afraid to box them in and then wait for their response. Like, all right, so let's lock this one in and then shut up.
Yep. That's why I use what they told me. That way it's not coming from me, it's coming from you.
Right. So, yes, I would agree on that. So, yeah, that's basically, I don't want to keep it, what we like timeline?
22 minutes.
Okay, yeah, so good time. So, let's go ahead and do the one last thing which you would recommend for a new and upcoming agent. What's the first thing that you would do when you get that, what is the certificate y'all get?
The license.
When you get your license, what's the first thing that you need to do?
So first of all, definitely get with a broker that's going to teach you the game, because throughout the real estate classes they teach y'all the laws and everything, but they don't teach you how to do a deal.
Gotcha.
So finding somebody that knows what they're doing, that can show you what they're doing, so you can be successful is first. So then after that, you got to put everything into it. So
what does that mean? So we use specific on what.
So
give them don't give them everything, but give them one thing that you got to put into it.
So I would say put a real plan together for your day. It ain't just I'm gonna wake up, see if I get some clients. What you doing in the morning from 9 to 11, like lunchtime, then what you doing in the afternoon.
Schedule out your day.
Yeah.
Just don't
don't shoot from the hip.
Right.
You ain't sitting there twiddling your thumbs.
Somebody said this is one of the motivational speakers. If you don't have a target, you guarantee not to hit nothing.
Right.
Because you don't know what you're shooting at. So you got to have a target on what what you're doing that day, and then you got to exercise that day. You had a discipline to exercise what you did, what you had planned.
Yep, and if you, like they say, you fail to plan to fail.
Right. So, yep. That's definitely good advice. So, man, y'all look at it, y'all want to get into it. Mention don't forget you broker. Don't forget. Tell them what you got as far as the Greenwood and everything like that. If you look.
We're getting there. So Greenwood Realty Group will be interviewing some agents to join the team early 2023.
Right.
So yeah, stay tuned for that. Follow me on CJ Sales Texas on social media. You'll be getting more information.
Gotcha. So that's a good segue. You told them where they can find you and everything like that. So let's go ahead and wrap it up again. My name is Brandon V. Dixon, NMLS 1541210. I'm a published author, serial entrepreneur, mortgage broker. Don't forget, go to my website, www.applywithb.com. Go to the Amazon, put Brandon B. Dixon in, and you'll see my book. Go ahead and get you a couple of copies of that. $13, man, make you 6 figures, man. Come on. Stop being cheap. Invest in your future.
Hey,
So
they ain't paying 13 for a book. They ain't gonna make it.
Right. If you have 13, it hurt your pockets. You might, you're the wrong thing. People that actually are successful are people that invest in themselves. So with that being said, don't forget, we'll catch you every week, man, at the Power of Ownership Podcast. Go to @Billionaire_Loan_Officer on all social media. With that, I'm going to say peace.
Peace.
Purpose. No one can create your purpose for you. No one can tell you who to be. So in purpose, you have to create your own purpose. And in evolution, you have to evolve towards that purpose. It's easier to live when you have goals to meet. You understand? If you have goals to meet, then you don't feel so voided, and you understand why every day you're looking at this person in the mirror, because that is the cool part about the game. You get to be anybody you want to be.